an expanded assessment of Donald J. Trump's political ideology, personal ambition, leadership skills, economic and diplomatic competence, and enduring legacy. Political ideology. Donald J. Trump's political ideology is characterized by a blend of populism, nationalism, and a transactional approach to governance. While he ran as a Republican, his views often diverged from traditional conservative principles. Trump's America First doctrine emphasized economic protectionism, immigration restrictions, and a unilateral approach to foreign policy. He advocated for policies that prioritized American interests, often at the expense of international alliances and agreements. This ideology resonated with a significant portion of the electorate who felt left behind by globalization and rapid social changes. However, critics argue that his approach fostered division and undermined democratic norms. Personal ambition. Trump's personal ambition has been a driving force throughout his career. From his early days in real estate to his ventures in entertainment and politics, he has consistently sought prominence and influence. His entry into politics was marked by a desire to disrupt the status quo and position himself as a champion of the forgotten American. Trump's relentless pursuit of media attention and his ability to dominate news cycles underscore his ambition to remain at the center of public discourse. Even after his presidency, he continues to wield significant influence within the Republican Party and among his base. Leadership skills. Trump's leadership style is unconventional and polarizing. He often eschewed traditional political norms, favoring direct communication through social media and public rallies. His approach to leadership emphasized loyalty and personal allegiance, sometimes at the expense of institutional integrity. While he galvanized a fervent supporter base, his tenure was also marked by high staff turnover and strained relationships with key allies and institutions. Critics point to his handling of crises, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, as indicative of a leadership style that prioritized personal image over effective governance. Economic competence. Trump's economic policies centered on tax cuts, deregulation, and trade protectionism. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 significantly reduced corporate tax rates, aiming to stimulate investment and job creation. While the stock market experienced gains during his tenure, the benefits of these policies were unevenly distributed, with wealthier individuals and corporations reaping the most significant rewards. Trump's trade wars, particularly with China, led to increased tariffs and strained international trade relations. The onset of the COVID-19 pandemic further complicated the economic landscape, resulting in a sharp contraction and increased unemployment. By the end of his term, the national debt had risen substantially, raising concerns about the long-term sustainability of his economic strategies. Diplomatic competence. In foreign affairs, Trump adopted a transactional and often unilateral approach. He withdrew the United States from several international agreements, including the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal, arguing that these agreements disadvantaged the U.S. His administration's skepticism toward multilateral institutions and traditional alliances, such as NATO, signaled a shift from established diplomatic norms. Trump's direct engagements with leaders like North Korea's Kim Jong-un were unprecedented, though they yielded limited substantive outcomes. Critics argue that his foreign policy decisions eroded America's global standing and created uncertainties among allies and adversaries alike. Enduring legacy. Donald Trump's legacy is multifaceted and continues to influence American politics. He reshaped the Republican Party, embedding a populist and nationalist ethos that challenges traditional conservative orthodoxy. His judicial appointments, particularly to the Supreme Court, have had lasting impacts on American jurisprudence. However, his tenure also saw increased political polarization, challenges to democratic institutions, and a contentious relationship with the media. The events surrounding the 2020 election and the subsequent Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, have become defining moments of his presidency, raising questions about the resilience of American democracy. Trump's influence persists as he remains a central figure in national discourse and a potential candidate in future elections. References: Investopedia, The Economic Impact of Donald Trump's Presidency. Link investopedia.com/Donald-Trump Presidency Economic Impact at 86666. Council on Foreign Relations, Donald Trump's Costly Legacy. Link maps.cfr.org jumps article Donald Trump's Costly Legacy. Miller Center. Donald Trump, Impact and Legacy. https millercenter.org/president/Trump impact and legacy. Wikipedia. Donald Trump, wikipedia.org/wiki, Donald Trump, Wikipedia. America First, Policy. Link epslan.wikipedia.America First, 20 Wikipedia. Economic Policy of the First Donald Trump Administration. Link TPP/in Wikipedia Economic Policy of the First Donald Trump Administration. Wikipedia. Rhetoric of Donald Trump. /en.wikipedia.org/wiki. Rhetoric of Donald Trump. As of May 2025, President Donald J. Trump's second term has been marked by a series of aggressive policy initiatives and executive actions that have significantly impacted domestic and international affairs. Below is an updated assessment of his political ideology, personal ambition, leadership skills, economic and diplomatic competence, and enduring legacy, incorporating developments from his current term. Political ideology. President Trump's political ideology continues to be characterized by a blend of populism, nationalism, and a transactional approach to governance. In his second term, he has intensified his focus on cultural issues, targeting diversity, equity and inclusion, DEI policies, transgender rights, and critical race theory. Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller emphasized the administration's commitment to combating what they describe as cancerous woke culture, positioning the government as a cultural warrior against progressive ideologies. This ideological stance has been operationalized through a series of executive orders aimed at dismantling DEI initiatives within federal agencies and educational institutions. The administration's approach reflects a broader effort to reshape American cultural and social norms in line with conservative values. Personal ambition. President Trump's personal ambition remains a driving force in his political career. His second term has been characterized by a desire to solidify his legacy and assert his influence over the Republican Party and American politics at large. This ambition is evident in his rapid issuance of over 140 executive orders within the first 100 days of his term, targeting a wide array of policy areas, including education, energy, immigration, and government reform. Additionally, Trump's appointment of loyalists to key positions such as Caroline Leavitt as the youngest ever White House press secretary underscores his intent to maintain a tight grip on the administration's messaging and policy direction. President Trump's leadership style in his second term continues to be assertive and unorthodox. He has demonstrated a willingness to bypass traditional legislative processes through the extensive use of executive orders. However, this approach has drawn criticism for fostering a climate of retribution and instability. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton described the administration as erratic and vengeful, highlighting concerns about the coherence and strategic direction of Trump's leadership. The administration's aggressive policy shifts have also led to internal tensions and public backlash, particularly in response to economic downturns linked to new tariff policies. Critics argue that the president's leadership prioritizes personal and political interests over national stability and governance. Economic competence. The economic landscape under President Trump's second term has been tumultuous. The implementation of widespread tariffs, including a 10% universal import duty and higher rates for specific countries, has led to significant market volatility and a contraction in the U.S. economy. Notably, the first quarter of 2025 saw a 0.3% decline in GDP, marking the first such downturn since 2022. These economic challenges have drawn criticism from both political opponents and former supporters. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy, a previous Trump supporter, publicly criticized the president's handling of the economy, expressing frustration over personal financial losses attributed to the administration's policies. Diplomatic competence. In foreign affairs, President Trump's second term has been marked by a departure from traditional diplomatic norms. The administration has withdrawn the U.S. from international agreements, such as the Paris Climate Accord and the World Health Organization, and has imposed new tariffs on allies and adversaries alike. Additionally, the administration's approach to international conflicts, including the temporary suspension of aid to Ukraine and controversial proposals regarding the Gaza Strip, has raised concerns about the U.S.'s global standing and commitment to international partnerships. Enduring, is he? President Trump's second term is poised to leave a lasting impact on the American political landscape. His aggressive policy initiatives and challenges to established norms have intensified political polarization and prompted debates about the resilience of democratic institutions. Public opinion reflects a divided nation, with a Pew Research Center survey indicating that while 75% of Republicans approve of Trump's job performance, his overall approval rating has declined amid economic concerns and controversial policies. The administration's actions have sparked discussions about the balance of power within the federal government and the role of executive authority. As legal challenges to various executive orders unfold, the long-term implications of Trump's second term will continue to shape American governance and political discourse. References. One Trump 2.0's shining star, Caroline Leavitt, is prime example of tactic President has used to power up his second term. The Sun, May 2nd, 2025. 2. John Bolton on why Trump 2.0 is going nowhere fast. Vox, May 2nd, 2025. 3. Miller highlights Trump priority, the war against cancerous woke culture. The Washington Post, May 1st, 2025. 4. Dave Portnoy takes Trump to task for sluggish economy. Don't peas down my back and tell me it's raining. New York Post, May 1st, 2025. 5. Second presidency of Donald Trump. Wikipedia, May 2nd, 2025. 6. Ratings of Trump and key policies 100 days into second term. Pew Research Center, April 23rd, 2025. A heartfelt light. To every soul whose hand did give, you've helped me dream, helped me live. In darkest hours your light came through, with hearts so kind, so pure, so true. Your gifts, like stars in deepest night, have steered me gently toward the light. Each coin, each word, each silent prayer, a thread of hope so rich, so rare. My eyes once dimmed now seek the skies, and slowly clearer visions rise. Because of you, I dare to see the world again. Its grace, its plea. Your compassion's flame will not just stay with me alone. It lights the way for others wandering through despair to feel the warmth of selfless care. You've shown what love in action means, in quiet ways through giving scenes. You've built a bridge from soul to soul and made the broken feel more whole. So let this thanks rise like a song, a melody both soft and strong. May your example gently call more hearts to rise to give. To fall into the joy of lifting pain, of planting hope where none remains. Your kindness walks beside me still, a light, a love, a living will.
don't forget to hit that subscribe button to show your support.